Hi, this is my project on culturally responsive library. My name is Tamara Disanaika and I'm interning at an early childhood education center in Los Angeles, and I also help a few preschool providers to set up their classrooms with various center areas for young children 2 to 5 years old. I chose one daycare with their bookshelf to conduct the audit for the culturally responsive classroom library, and these are the results of my 50 books. In this classroom, there were 12 girls and 8 boys, 0 non binary, and 0 number of families from transgender. In my classroom demographics, my book evaluation represented more female characters than male characters. I did not discover any non binary or transgender family children. Gender in this pie chart, you can see the non-human percentage is the highest because most of the books were stories of animals. A few were added with numbers, shapes, rhyming, and alphabet books too. Very small percentage of non-binary, non-gender books were available, and those were not directly specified male or female. There were 31% of female characters and 23% of male characters, which indicate more female than male. I see there is a balance comparing to the numbers of girls and boys in the classroom. In the main in the main character, my books represent higher amount of male characters rather than female characters, even though the classroom have more female students than male students. Some animal books didn't represent directly the gender, and those books were counted as non-human characters. Characters that didn't fall into male or female were counted as non-binary, non-gender category. Focusing on the race of characters, 42% were non-human characters. That is due to the high volume of animal books and non-specified characters. Displaying too many animal books will not explain the reality of life, and I think we need to add more books with humans with wide range of race and gender to provide a culturally responsive environment. There is one Native American and one Arab child in the class, but no books to represent those children in the classroom. The highest category of race in the classroom was Latinx, but the percentage of Latinx books were 10%, which is less than Black, African American, and white character books. Race of main characters had high amount of white characters and only one book of Asian and one book of Latinx. We have the highest number of Latinx children, and how do you think those children are going to identify their own race? What about other children with different races? These are good questions to keep in mind when setting up the children's bookshelves. We have 20% of the white students in the classroom, but displaying about 70% of white main characters. Let's see. We did not have any Native American books or Thanksgiving books in the classroom. In the settings, the majority of the children are from farm areas, and the books that we read mostly represent rural areas. However, those books are representing animals rather than people. The preschool is in the city surrounded by apartments, blocks of sidewalks, houses with yards and fences. So we need to introduce the surrounding community to the children to create a connection with the real world. We need to provide books that expand the knowledge of the child about the cities and neighborhoods with yards and fences. Books with desert were not available at all. Sadly, my 50 books didn't represent family structure, any disabilities, and LGBTQ characters. I think children need to be exposed to these categories to recognize the reality of the world around them. I had one Spanish book and one English book with Chinese words to represent their native language, and the rest were all English. 12 out of 20 were representing religious family backgrounds such as Christianism, Catholicism, Muslim, Buddhism, and Jewish. I had only one book of Hanukkah and one book of Christmas. It is important to add other religious books for children to identify the differences of beliefs and values, which will help them to learn how to respect each other's society or individual cultures. Again, the evaluation does not describe economic struggles. Significant number of children in this program are coming from a low income family and there weren't any economic hardship books for children. I think we need to add more high standard books of topics. Economic struggles and poverty are something that parents try to keep away from young children, but it is a good idea to include children books that educate them economic hardship communities exist too. Overall, I think with my book evaluation, I realized these books were quite old and some were outdated. Lack of books to represent important components of rich cultural environment, and it is crucial to eliminate some of these books to implement a wide range of culturally responsive books. So let's see my analysis of Mirrors and Windows. Mirror books support children to reflect on their own experiences and see their own identity positively, and at the same time build the strength to stand up to unfairness. We did not have many mirror books in this bookshelf. Window books provide opportunities to see, discover, and know the differences and similarities positively. These positive feelings can guide the child to enjoy and respect others and their cultural values. So, I suggest a few books that can be added to this bookshelf, especially mirror books that represent main characters with variety of races, disability, and sexual orientation. Also, many window books with animals in the audit, but I suggest books with disability, family structure, economic struggles, sexual orientation, religious, urban, suburban, and desert settings should be included. And these are some of the books. It is important to have these books too, rhyming books, but we can eliminate some of these books to implement great books to educate our children. Thank you.